Hey everybody, I thought today we would talk about egg myths, commercial eggs that you buy at the grocery store. So when you go to your grocery store and you buy eggs, sometimes you'll see this, cage-free. These particular ones are cage-free, raised without antibiotics, vegetarian fed, and no added hormones. So let's start out with, let's just start with an easy one, vegetarian fed. So chickens are not vegetarians. They are omnivores. They eat meat, they eat bugs, they eat grass, they eat vegetables, they eat everything. That's what an omnivore does. People are omnivores. We eat meat and veggies. Chickens eat meat and veggies. That is their normal, natural diet, not vegetarian. So that's not something that's for the chicken. That's something to make the consumer feel like they're doing something good. The added hormones, you wouldn't normally feed chickens hormones. So that's kind of a greenwashing technique. It's just thrown out there, even though nobody does it. It's thrown out there to make you feel like they're doing something special by not doing it. My favorite one though would be cage-free. So, cage-free is one of the most successful propaganda ploys, definitely in the top 10. I don't know if you actually know how commercial chickens are raised. They're raised in long, low shed type buildings, and there are literally thousands of birds in those sheds. And it used to be, before the cage-free thing was demonized, that laying hens were all raised in small cages. And I'm not saying that they were a good thing. They were small, they didn't have room to move, and they spent their whole life in those cages. But if you were a chicken and you lived on a commercial farm, you might have preferred your tiny little cage to being crammed shoulder to shoulder or wing to wing with 10,000 of your closest friends. Because the other fallacy about the vegetarian fed chicken is when you raise chickens like that, when you have thousands of birds stuck in a barn, you have fatalities. Chickens die. Overcrowding, it gets too hot, they're just unhealthy, whatever. And if you have 10,000 birds in a barn, and say 20 of them die every day, their friends are going to eat them. That's what chickens do, because they're not vegetarians. And they'll just start pecking at the dead bitty next to them. There are people, it's actually their job to walk through those barns and remove all the dead birds every day. That sounds like a great job, doesn't it? Yeah. But it's a complete fallacy to say that it's better or cleaner or more humane for the chickens to not be in those cages and just be crammed into those barns the way they are. So cage-free, while it sounds good, is really just a myth. It's a greenwashed myth to make you feel better about something. The next one, let's see, where'd it go? Free range. Now, I don't actually know anything about this particular brand. This is just an egg carton that I had that had the term on it. But the legal definition of free range for a commercially raised chicken is that they have access to the outdoors. So they are still raised in these huge sheds crammed full of birds, but they have a door to outside access. It does not specify how big the outside access is or how big the door is. And chickens are not the smartest thing in the world, so unless you teach them that they can use the door, they probably never use the door. So you're paying $1, $2 extra for those free range commercial eggs, and those chickens are raised just like the chickens that are producing the eggs that are $2 cheaper that don't have the free range label on them. It is greenwashing. Greenwashing is when corporations or the government use a term to make something sound better. We're not going to put them in cages, and we're going to give them access to the outdoors. they're raised no differently than they were raised before. It's not better for the chicken. It just makes the consumer feel like they're doing something better, and it enables the manufacturer to charge more for the supposed benefit that the birds are getting. So your best bet always is to, if you can't raise your own birds, it's to find somebody close to you who is raising their own birds in their backyard that truly are free range, run around eating bugs and worms and mice and whatever else they're finding, and to buy eggs from them. If you don't have access to that, there's farmers markets where people take their eggs, and those are typically raised in a much better manner than most commercial egg businesses. And if you truly don't feel like you can access a farmer's market, or you don't know anybody that has backyard chickens, don't spend $2 to $3 extra to buy pasture-raised, vegetarian, organic, cage-free eggs, because they're probably absolutely demonstrably no different from the eggs that are $3 less that don't say any of those fancy buzzwords. Don't fall for the greenwashing. Do your research. Actually look up what those terms mean legally, because what they might mean to, well, when I say my chickens are free range, my chickens literally are running all over the place. They have access to everything but my yard, so that they can't pull up my garden, but they run around, they have bugs, they have worms, they have grass. They are living a great life. And pasture raised should mean that birds are out on an actual pasture. All of those things to us mean something, but legally there's usually a dance where it doesn't mean what you think it means at all. So this was just hitting on a few of the major commercial egg myths and why it's not worth you spending the extra money to try to make yourself feel better by believing their terms that don't mean what they think they mean or what you think they mean. So buy local, buy truly free range, buy from backyard hens that are actually happy, or if you can't, just buy the standard non-catchword, non-greenwashed eggs that are probably $2 to $3 cheaper a dozen and exactly the same as the one that has the schmancy label. And again, like I said, I don't know anything about that particular brand, but most brands in the grocery store are all the same. All right, have a great day. Thanks for watching. As always, if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe.